Well, Glenn, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for doing this.
Absolutely. You kind of threw your name in the hat a little bit last minute. Was this kind of a last minute plan, or were you kind of thinking about it for a while?
Well, this is, I ran 3 times before, 2 or 3 times, and, my wife has to have some say in it, so I had to really get her permission on this one.
Yeah, for sure. You're a
And,
smart man.
and we had to get a few things to the side,
Yeah.
and I was gonna run for school board and counselor, but it wouldn't do what I need to get done. So running for counselor, I think this is the avenue to go to get what I need to get done for the
Yeah.
town.
Right on. So, Glenn, we're going to walk through the 7 questions that we do have, and then I'll take some notes while you're giving the answers. And then once we're done the 7 questions, we'll dissect some of those things that you said, some of the highlights, things that I want to go back and maybe touch on what you said. So, Glenn, can you first tell us a little bit about yourself and what motivated you to run for Okotoks Town Council?
Um, for about myself, I've got in real estate back in 1975, so I've carried my license, I think about 45 out of the 50 years. And I've had other businesses, as far as lawn spraying, like Green Drop. I used to do 8,000 service calls in 5 months. I sold that business in 94 and I moved to Alberta where I wanted to be. And this is where I am. And I moved to Okotoks. Number one, I like the name of the town.
Mhm.
And we things have happened to the town since I moved here in 2008, and I don't like the way it's been going. And so there's got to be some major decisions being done, so no more damage is done here.
For sure. What's your vision for Okotoks over the next 4 years, and what role do you see yourself playing in helping achieve that vision?
Well, I'm hoping to work something out or to get it started to get some type of perimeter around Okotoks for the traffic. The traffic's going to get a lot worse than what we have now if we don't start planning something and at least get something in the works where we can stop these subdivisions from stopping a perimeter. We had a couple of routes that we could have put like 32nd Street. I thought when it was going through that would sort of be our perimeter, and then they jammed it with schools and streetlights, and now it's. I mean, if I had a young kid, I wouldn't. I'd be hesitant of him crossing 32nd Street,
Mhm.
and that we put in that bridge, and it's made for 2 bridges. So some plan has to be made. I think that route to get around the town, and if we can find a route around the town, then at least put a stop to all subdivisions in that area and get it in the planning. So eventually we'll get it because the traffic's going to get worse.
Mhm.
So let's get something in the works where we can have something in the future where we can limit this traffic because it all started with the cap, um, where we put on the cap, and then we didn't do any future planning for the town.
Mhm.
And then we just been throwing these subdivisions up a little bit at a time and blocking any route to get around the town.
Mhm.
That's they're really concerned with me, because it's going to take more time to get through Okotoks than it does to get to Calgary.
Right. In your view, what are the top 2 or 3 issues facing Okotoks right now, and how would you approach them if you were elected? No doubt you just
Well, the
touched on
first
them.
one is the traffic,
Mhm.
and the second one is that I'm a big believer in charter schools, and we're in a situation here where people don't understand chartered schools, and I want to use this counselor position to educate the people on chartered schools to realize they don't cost you anymore. The only difference is they don't have school boards. And the results, for an example, if you put your child into, you can't put your child already into grade 2 because you're too far behind. Time between charter schools and public schools, by grade 2, it's too late. They're already a year ahead of your child
Mhm.
in the charter schools. So that's and the big reason is because chartered schools have a way of getting rid of the teachers that are no good, and in the public schools, there's almost no way of determining them
Mhm.
unless pension him.
Right, for sure. Okay. Number 4, Okotoks continues to face challenges around growth, housing, infrastructure. How do you believe the town should balance development with maintaining its character and livability?
Well, the thing is, the damage has already been done with the cap. We've moved We've agreed, and where the cap was removed is that when they were building the new high school, they were going to build it in Alderside. And then finally the people realized, well, I don't want my kids on the highway every day. So we agreed to pull the cap to build the high school in Okotoks. So the school is now built. So there's no changing that. That's I know people want to say, oh, it's growing too fast. We committed to this when we took that school. So now we got to work with it, and not and they think that they're going to put not approve subdivisions, what have you. No, there's an appeal process, and the appeal will override it. So the only thing that I see with this is work with it. Let's get this traffic around the town, and at least then when you're going to a store in town or a bank, what have you, you don't have to wait. You don't have to get on. Take you 10 minutes to do that,
Hmm.
because at least the traffic will be going around the town,
Hmm.
and that's the part. And the other thing is, I would like to make Okotoks the Charter 2 capital of Canada. Alberta is the only province that allows chartered schools, and they work extremely well. I want an opportunity for the people to look at that, to get their child on the list, because even the list right now is thousands of kids. I'll give you an example. The lady put her child on the list. This nurse put her child on the list to get in charter schools when the child was still in diapers. He got in at grade 2, and he cried every day for 2 weeks because he was so far behind he couldn't catch up, so we had to move him back.
Mm.
So the only way I can see it now is just get the government to allow us a couple of rooms in the public school system, and work with that, and start with the grade 1s and then the grade 2s, and gradually take over a school. And but there's no way we can put a whole school, because the kids are already too far behind.
Right.
So we can start with the grade 1, and then the only thing is, the town's going to grow. If we can get this off the ground, this place will boom. And
Hmm.
that's the thing is, so we got to put up with this traffic. You got to put up with the growth, because anybody has knowledge of Scarlet School is going to want to live here.
Hmm.
So I really believe that you'll probably have if I could get one room, you'll probably have the hottest real estate in Alberta if we can do that.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, anyways, those are the two main reasons. The other thing is, we got to swimming pools and skating rinks. Last time I ran for councillor, that was such an important thing. I had so many emails on swimming pools and skating rinks, but just these pensions that the councillors voted for themselves, the pensions and the raise alone will support a $2.5 million loan. So I don't believe in those pensions. They're not. It's terrible. An $8,000 raise and a pension to me is terrible. There's no way I would. I'm 72 years old, so I don't need no pension. But the thing is, there should be no pension for a part-time. Now the mayor, that's a full-time job. Well, I can go with that, but not on the councillors. That's terrible. That's taking advantage of your position and your community.
Hmm. Number 5, many residents want more transparency and involvement in decision making. How would you ensure residents' voices are heard and represented at council?
Well, anytime I wanted to raise a beef, I would go to council meetings, and they've always, the councils over the years, they've always put the time to the side and let you have your say. I've never had a problem with that. The only thing is, I would like the transparency on the management wages. Anything over $100,000, I like to be published, and other provinces have that. Like, for an example, we have the CEO right now of Okotoks. I think she's costing us what, $365,000 a year for a town. I think the CEO of Calgary is making less than what we're paying there,
Hmm.
365 grand.
But they are
That's way too much.
disclosing that, right? There's nobody's wages over 100,000 that they're not disclosing, or is there somebody's wages?
No, I make sure that they are.
Okay.
Any management, see, under 100,000, I'm not too worried about, but over 100,000, the people should know that these people are okay. Like a CEO's pulling down 365 a year. I
For
like that
sure.
disclosed. Anything over 100,000.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's transparency there. As far as council, I don't know. Over the years, if somebody has got a beef, they take it to council, and the council has listened to the people.
Hmm.
Not they made any decisions on it their way, but they've given the opportunity to hear their say. So I haven't got a problem with that.
For sure. Number 6, town council works as a team and also with the Foothills County and the province. How would you approach collaboration and compromise to get results for Okotoks?
Well, I don't believe in too much cooperation, because of the cooperation, we built the field house in Alderside instead of Okotoks. by cooperating, and we didn't need that. That field house should have been built in Okotoks. So as far as cooperating, I would like to see some tax dollars from Alderside because we're missing. When we put that cap on, or a lot of the light industrials went and built in Alderside. Okay, that is the cream of the tax industry. They don't make any smell, they don't make any noise, and yet they use very few of your services, and yet they pay big taxes. And every town will give them sometimes free land to get to light industrial. But we chased it all the way to Alderside, and we're missing millions and millions of dollars in tax revenue because of that. I would like to have a share in that tax rate. As far as cooperation is Foothills County, they got to start. We've got to start returning some of that tax dollars to Okotoks because it's just a gift to them. They're and that's some of that stuff has got to come back because right now I think we're probably the highest percentage of residential tax income versus commercial in the province is because we chased it all away.
Hmm.
I think there's one other town I forget now where it is out by Rosebud. I think there's another one where they chased all the light industrial away. But all towns we got to get some of that back to keep these taxes at a reasonable level.
Hmm.
So that's that would be my answer on that one.
Yeah. If residents remember just one thing about you, Glenn, after listening to this conversation, what should it be?
Well, make sure you vote. Number
Yeah.
one, it's so
Yeah.
important.
Right on.
We're losing the country because people aren't voting.
Hmm.
It's and get more involved in politics.
Hmm.
People are not educating themselves in politics. Like I don't know, yeah, you've been around a while. I don't know if you remember the Charlottetown Accord. People were voting for that. If that would have went through, that would have been like, for an example, Quebec would have had 8 more seats right now because in there it stated that Quebec was to have 25% of all parliamentary seats forever
Hmm.
if
Hmm.
that would have been passed.
Hmm.
And there were so many people that didn't understand what was going on. And in the education process, we've got to get our kids educated in politics to show them how important it is to get out and vote and understand what's happening in your community and your province.
Yeah, for sure.
So, oh, here, one other thing that I want to mention
Hmm.
is we have a thing with the library. It's called Press Reader. And when you're a membership, it gives you the right to 7,000 newspapers for free, like the Calgary Herald, the Sun, all that's loaded down. It's for free for your library card, and $10 for your whole family, and hardly anybody in Okotoks knows about it.
Okay, so is it? Do you get a digital copy of the newspaper?
Yeah, every day, any paper you want, it's
Really?
there for free. The Herald, the Toronto Star, the Winnipeg Sun, right across the country, United States, even some magazines my wife picks up, the People magazine and stuff like that. They're all free, everything,
Really? That's
and yet it
fascinating.
costs you nothing.
Yeah.
And yet none of this. I downloaded a couple of kids. I live across from high school, so I downloaded a couple of apps just the other day for them, show them how it's done because they didn't know. And yet the school system should be pointing out to get this on these kids' phones to be able to read these newspapers.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
and I bet you didn't know about it either.
That's why I'm acting shocked because I didn't know
Yeah.
about it, but that's
Yeah,
fascinating.
it's such a big thing. Anybody down will be like, wow.
Yeah.
I used to pay $350 a year just for the Herald.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, and now I pay nothing. I got 7,000 newspapers. So I
know.
read about 10 newspapers every morning.
Yeah. It's crazy. You
I-
wonder
I
how the
find-
newspapers make it. I guess maybe through advertisements now and digital
I'm
advertisements.
not
right?
sure how it
Yeah.
works. There is a few that aren't there, like the Globe and Mail. It's not there. There's a few,
Mhm.
but 90% of them are there.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, Glenn, you certainly said a lot in those 7 questions. You certainly do have a wee bit of a different angle than some other counselors, which is certainly great. So let's dissect a few things that you said in those questions. First off, on the first question, you said you don't like the way things are going. Is that just in regards to growth, or is there some other things that you don't like the way things are going?
Well, the growth is the big thing. Okay, it's not the growth; it's the traffic.
Hmm.
The growth I can handle with. That's not a problem as long as you don't have to go through Okotoks to get to Calgary.
So do you think
can't stop it.
do you think you would have as big of an issue with the traffic if we didn't just go through the summer that we did? Like, were you having an issue before the summer? Like, because the summer was awful because of construction and everything going on. Do you think that's the construction's a part of it, or do you think there's a
No,
greater
no,
issue?
nothing. That's Elizabeth. We all know that's it's going to be done, and eventually it's going to go away. But I think a South Ridge or South Bank, it's loaded. I can't even get across the street in the morning when you have during rush hour. It's just everything's plugged onto that street,
Mhm,
and there's no way around it.
mhm,
32nd Street was supposed to be our way around it,
mhm,
and then they plugged these schools in there. It was almost like, and they put in Darcy Ranch, plugged that area. So the thing is, it's almost like it was planned to put a block so you couldn't put any growth in, and then we pulled a cap. And we didn't do any future. We didn't look at the future. And now we certainly have to. Like the 10 years from now, not 4 years, 10 years. Like, this traffic is going to be just brutal.
mhm.
And we've got to look at a solution eventually that it will get better because, with this with this virus we had, I mean, people are working from their homes now. Yourself, Black Diamond and Turner Valley, the real estate has got this boom.
Mhm,
I mean, the real estate's darn near as expensive as ours now,
mhm,
and everybody now can work from home, so they're living out there. So, and that's another reason why the traffic's increased so much.
mhm.
So that's got to be worked on, and to have a route and say, okay, this, we'll have this in 10 years, so at least don't put any subdivisions here.
Yeah,
Eh,
that was actually my next question because you're talking about a perimeter, but then not putting any other subdivisions on the outside of that perimeter. That doesn't seem to make sense to me. Can you explain that a little bit?
Well, the thing is this: when they put Darcy Ranch in, you could have with the ridges, you could have gone through where the stadium is, what have you, and get around it and have your perimeter there. You can't do that now. They put the subdivision in there, blocked it. Um, Now they put the other one in on. I tried studying on the map where we could go because bridges are extremely expensive. You're talking in the hundreds of millions, and we put that one bridge in, and we made room for a double bridge. So that's where I thought would be the route of people going around the town,
Mhm.
and then we put in those subdivisions. So I'm not sure how far we have to go yet to get around Darcy's Ranch, but that would probably be the route I would think that we would go, and that wherever the route that we plan is acceptable, then make sure that okay, no subdivisions where the road's going to go.
Right.
Not where we can tie it to, but at least limited amount of lights. I mean, on 32nd Street, it's a dangerous for little kids. I'm telling you, you watch. I was just watching the little boy at 7-Eleven. I watched him. I was sitting in the lights. He came with his bicycle, and I could see him. He did everything right. The traffic was there, and he went to 7-Eleven. And I went through Darcy. I came back, and here he was. He got his ice cream and going back to the heaviest traffic.
Mhm.
I mean, he was well trained, that little boy on his bicycle, and he did everything right. Pressed the button, but not all kids are like that.
No.
There's a lot of traffic there.
Yeah. No.
So we can't. That's got to be that we got to be able to do something there.
Mhm. So you also kind of mentioned the possibility of like no future, like you talked about the cap and then no future planning. Like, is that no future planning? And I might be just having a hard time reading my notes here, but no future planning around the outskirts of the perimeter road.
Well, no. The thing is this: if once we put in, we have a route to get around the town. Okay, then we know there it is. But don't put any more subdivision until we know our route
Hmm.
and block it again.
Right.
And that's what they're doing to block us. It's making things so difficult now because we put in some of these subdivisions.
Yeah.
But we still got to look at it now. This is what we got to live with, and let's see if we can get something around the town. And if there, at least then we know there's a future there. And you'll say, well, the traffic is getting worse. Yes, but eventually we will get it around.
Hmm.
And depending where we want to put our money, but we have we need skating rinks. We need sports services for our people. I mean, that's why a lot of people come to Okotoks is because of the recreational part. It used to be,
Hmm.
and now I mean, last time I ran for council, I got people email me on swimming pool time. There is none.
Hmm.
Even public swimming. I camp on these small towns. They got swimming pools nicer than we do.
Hmm.
So I'm not sure if there's anything in the planning to expand these swimming pools, but I definitely think we need another swimming pool in this town, or expanded facility in that area.
Hmm.
And those are the areas that has to be done because every time a subdivision you put another block on us, which eventually we're going to have to come around the town. But how much is it going to cost us?
Right.
So if we can at least start.
Yeah.
And then they know, okay, you can't. The guy applies for subdivision. No, you can't go there because we're eventually your road's going to go there.
Hmm.
Then they know. Because even if the subdivision was to come up and they apply and council turns it down, they'll appeal it and they'll win on appeal.
Mhm.
That's what's going to happen. So that you're in dream world to think somebody says, "Oh, we're going to put a cap back or whatever." It ain't going to happen.
Right. No.
Yeah,
No. Yeah, well, we ran into that one. There was that subdivision that they're looking at putting in near country living, and I think that's what woke everybody up as to, okay, this subdivision is going to be going in. It's going to be in Foothills County. It's not going to be in the town of Okotoks, but it's going to be so close to the town of Okotoks, and we're just going to get tapped out. But I yeah, I think the town's certainly in a tough spot because the Foothills County is certainly working very hard at trying to get a lot of different communities built quick. It seems like as well. They're proposing a lot of new communities, east of Alderside and near Dunbow Road, and a lot of these new communities are going to be impacting Okotoks. So it's very, very difficult. And you're right. We need to get a plan in place to move traffic because I think at the end of the day, people don't. Yes, people want that small town feel. People want Okotoks to remain the way that it is, but until it starts to impact them, they really don't care. And I think people are kind of waking up. Last time, it'll be interesting to see what kind of voter turnout we have because last time it was 36%. So 64% of people really don't have the right to complain.
Well, I'll tell you, even now and I've tested this with people, 90% don't have a clue. When they go to vote for a mayor or councilor, I ask them all, who'd you vote for school board? Well, I don't know. I'll tell you, teachers do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and full disclosure, I have no idea. I haven't gone on a website or whatever.
Right, that's
That's
exactly
never
it.
part of my radar when it comes to a municipal election.
Oh, yeah, and the thing is, we got the 6 school board members, 5 of them are past teachers, and, we have a superintendent pulling down, what, $337,000 a year? And then we have his wife as a teacher also. So just in that family alone, they're pulling down $500,000. Uh, and they're not even we can't even supply the kids with a Chromebook, and they have to share and what have you, because all the money's taken out through the pensions. Like teachers' pensions, 12% we pay. They pay 6. Just drains the schools
Hmm.
for 90 paid sick days. That's what a teacher gets here.
Hmm.
Like I don't know of any other profession that gets 90 paid sick days.
Yeah.
But that just shows you the power they have politically, and they do. And they got a 23% increase. Stalmack gave them on the convention floor. They gave them a 23% increase and a $2.2 billion check to their pension plan,
Hmm.
which worked out to $40,000 tax free.
Hmm.
And that was board money, so that we're paying that today. And but the teachers vote, and they're a very powerful situation. And I'm one of the few people that prepared to take them on and say this is wrong. And I see That's why charter schools work so well. I mean, they got good teachers. The only thing is, you got to get your kid to the school. That was your cost. And so I would like to see at least 1 or 2 classrooms started in Okotoks. Give the parents a chance.
Um, yeah. So okay. So a charter, like you're pretty passionate about a charter school. You ran for school board trustee in the past. Um, do you? Why do you feel that running for town council is a good route for you to uh, pave the way for chartered schools in Okotoks?
Well, number one, by having this video right now, this doesn't cost anything, and yet I get to let the people know what charter schools are about,
Hmm.
because they think you have to pay. They're not private; it's 100% paid by the government. The thing is, they have a different process of keeping their teachers. There's no school board. Okay, so it's run by the parents,
Hmm.
and if you get a bad teacher, they're gone. There's no room for it, and you'll see the the 2 people that I know that they made sure their kids got in charter schools, believe it or not, were nurses.
Right.
So they're right on top of it. These are educated people knowing where the good school system is. And then another thing is they find where you get parents, they feel that the kids, has a tough time learning, needs a little extra help.
Hmm.
They're the ones that hunt down these charter schools,
Right.
because there's a large percentage of kids that are, they're not going to be rocket scientists, but at least they're going to get a great job.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, so and those are the parents that are on top of it, are in charge of schools.
Yeah.
But you got to, but if we can get, one or two rooms, and I'll tell you, this school system will say, "Oh yeah, they're taking the money from us." That's not true at all.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
It's the pensions and teachers' benefits that are taking all the money from our schools.
Sure. Can we
So,
touch on the you talked about the pensions and the pay increase for counselors. It seems like you're in agreement with how much the mayor gets paid, but you're in disagreement with how much a counselor gets
well,
paid.
but the mayor is a full time job. If
Hmm.
you're going to do a good job for Okotoks, it's a full time job.
Hmm.
And in that point, I think we do have a mayor now that that would probably be her main income.
Hmm.
So then here's there's a job for you, and here I don't mind paying a pension and giving you some benefits. It's the proper thing. You're an employee.
Hmm.
Okay, but when you got a counselor, here, you're doing something else for a living. There's no need to have, these guys that voted themselves in a pension. And I don't think anybody should vote for these past counselors because of that. Because if I get in, that would be the first motion in. Just cancel these pensions for counselors. That's gone. There's no need for that.
Hmm.
That's just a money taken from like I said, between the pensions and the $8,000 raise, it will support a $2.5 million loan. I'd rather build a swimming pool, throw a couple more million on, then we got $5 million for a swimming pool. At least that's what the people are paying
Hmm.
for, not a counselor's pension.
So
That's
how
almost
long
the
does a counselor need to be on council in order to receive a pension?
Well, I'm not sure. Usually it's 1 year. I don't know. Most of the municipalities I've seen are 1 year.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think we'll
uh,
have to dive into that a little bit. Like I
yeah,
know
I
like the
see.
federal government, like I think you'd have to be on for like a full at least a full term. So I want to push back a little bit on
Yeah,
that.
federal government 6 years.
Yeah, like I think that I look at the because I think the counselor ends up getting like $40,000.
Right now, they boosted to 48 now.
It's 48.
Yeah, they basically ate and added this pregnancy leave and all the other stuff. The goodies, like they don't need that.
Yeah. But
It's
I think
not.
if we want to like I like whether you agree with the current council or not, I look at their time. They're showing up at events. They're putting themselves out there. I think there's a lot of volunteer time that goes into being a counselor, and I think if we
Oh,
want to become,
agree.
because we are a city, we gotta. I know we call ourselves a town. We pride ourselves in calling ourselves a town, and maybe we can fly under the radar a little bit because we're a town. But I'd like to know what that threshold is when our counselors start looking at increased pay um, to provide a greater service for the town. Right. I think that there's got to be some population number out there, some calculation that, okay, these guys are starting to, okay, right now they're part time. Let's move them to, potentially even 3/4 time so that we can have the attention of the counselors on because they're cutting out of work. Sometimes this is for a lot of them. It's a second job. Um, I don't know. I don't. What does the city of Calgary do? Are the counselors full time? I would
Oh yeah, they're full
imagine.
time. Yeah, you're talking big bucks there. I think they're probably pulling down 120 or something like that.
Hmm.
I mean, that's a full time job.
Hmm.
You're talking $1.5 million city. We're still a town,
Well,
and
just on paper, like technically, we're
yeah, you're
we're
right. Yeah,
we're we're a city.
yeah. Oh, and the other thing is too. I forgot to mention is the RCMP. Um, when I ran for councillor a couple of times, I've made lots of enemies in this town, and I was hunted down like an animal. It was only the judge that saved me. He accused the RCMP of being dishonest, and I got the transcript on it, and so I went after him. Boom, transfer him out of town.
Hmm.
So then I went after the chief. Boom, transfer him out of town. But if we have our own police department, they ain't going to transfer money anywhere. You're
Hmm.
going to have to, answer to your whatever you've done.
Hmm.
But meantime,
Hmm.
as soon as you got, and I had him. That RC, I had him. I had the transcript, everything. He knew it, and boom, away he went back to New Brunswick or whatever. Well, that was the end of it, so I had to step drop it. So. And then I figured, well, okay, I'm going to go after the chief.
Hmm.
And I said, this is garbage. You didn't protect me. And then bang, and 2 weeks later, he's gone.
Hmm.
Because yeah, I'll do something for you. I'm going to get it. Yeah, he knew it right away. He was going.
Yeah.
So that I am for a police department for Okotoks because then they're part of the community, and if they bugger up, you can come after them and not
Right.
just transfer them away.
Right.
And here's another thing: is why this RCMP used to be top notch. But did you know up until 2 years ago, the RCMP were making $40,000 less a year than the city of Winnipeg or city of Calgary?
Oh, really?
That's yeah. So you were attracting people not very good.
Mhm.
So now they got something like a $40,000 raise. So I would say now in the future, you're going to get better people. But there was, 40,000 less than a city of Calgary.
Yeah,
All your good policemen went to the major cities,
for sure.
and it turned out it really affected the RCMP.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well, Glenn, I appreciate you stepping up to the plate, as I have said to all counselors that candidates that have stepped up, and I think everybody is stepping up to the plate because they do love this town. They love what it is. They love what it was, and a lot are stepping up because they want to try to keep that. And I think that's why we have a lot of people on council right now that are, that's their desire. But it's certainly a juggling act with all the growth and all the people that want to be in Alberta, because Alberta is a great province to be in. Okotoks, in my opinion, is the best town, city to be in.
oh, yes, one of the best. I agree.
Yeah.
We're in a nice situation.
Yeah.
I moved there. I thought we'd be okay by being 8 kilometers from number two. I figured, okay, I'm going to be pretty safe. I'm not sitting like RJ where I knew they're going to gobbled up.
Yeah.
But we're not that safe anymore.
No.
So I say let's get the trim around and forget about the what happened in the past. Let's look in the future and see if so it doesn't get any worse.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
For sure.
that's what I'm up against, or I'm there
Yeah.
for.
Right on, sir. Appreciate you. Thanks for your time.
And thank you very much for your time.
Bet.
Good. Bye bye.